Good evening everybody and welcome back to TTL F1. This is round number 12 of season number 13, which takes us to the Hungarian Grand Prix and the Magyar Nagydíj circuit. My name is Kieran McGinley, and of course we come to the halfway point in the season where Squeezy is, well, running away with it at the moment. No one seems to be able to catch him. Obviously, he broke that streak of podiums in a race. That stopped at Germany when he and Zenki came together out of the final corner, and it put Squeezy into the wall. He came back last time out, if you missed it, to win the race. And now it just seems that he's laid a foundation for the rest of the season. As we head towards the Hungarian Grand Prix, affectionately known as Monaco without the barriers, the Hungaroring. The first Grand Prix was back in 1986. We're covering 35 laps today at a circuit length of 4.381 kilometres, covering a race distance of roughly 157 kilometres. Lap record here was a 119.071 set by Michael Schumacher in that legendary F2004 back in, guess when, 2004. Looking forward to this one. Obviously, if you don't know, 12 is my lucky number. When I used to league race, I used race with a number 12 on my car, so I would have considered maybe round 12 to be a lucky race for me. We shall see. A couple of driver changes and team changes to go through as we head towards round number 12. Ferrari have lost both drivers in Poe and Lambo. They're gone now, so Ferrari have had to really come up with some new signings. They've signed Plaster, who has raced a couple of reserve races with them. He made his trade back into this season with the likes of Red Bull and Ferrari. Ferrari have decided to sign him on a full-time basis until the end of this season. Alongside Plaster is Crazy Legs, the two-time champion and the second most decorated driver of all time, will be coming to Ferrari to try and improve on those lap times. With Williams, though, they've lost both drivers. Marquezes and White are both gone, so we have two free spots on the grid at the moment. Haas then had to replace the outgoing Damien, who's had to leave the league for personal reasons, and we do hope to see him back. But again, it left Haas open with an open car. They needed to fill it, so they filled it with White. So he's getting his move there to Haas until the end of this season. He'll be teaming up Sean until the end of season 13. We do have a new driver making their debut in one of the Saubers. Let's see if he is here tonight. Can't see him just yet, but we welcome Charlie to the league. Whether he makes his debut today or maybe on Thursday, who knows? We'll hope to see him in the near future. As it stands, though, everything else is exactly the same as we head towards the Hungarian Grand Prix. I am very glad that you've joined me for tonight, and it's been a weird couple of days. Normally I would be commentating, I think it's 5 times a week. It's currently down to 3, and that's a good thing because I was at the Butmore 24 hour the other day. Started on Saturday. I was in, I think it was 9 AM to 5, well, half 5, because I did a stint of commentary, which was really good, by the way. So that was very nice. And then I had a couple of days off after having done a night shift on Sunday. I did 12 AM to 8 AM, which was really tough. I had, for the first ever time, I had Red Bull, and yeah, that was a desperate time, actually. Desperate times came for desperate measures, and apparently Red Bull was what I needed to get me through. I wouldn't recommend trying it. Yeah, Red Bull. You don't come back from that. Anyway, so it took me a couple of days to readjust to my sleep schedule, and now I'm back behind a mic, and I bet you're all glad about that. And it was fun, the 24 hour. I got to meet the likes of Ben, Tia McMardock, I should say, and I got to meet Jimmy Broadbent as well, which was absolutely fantastic. Really loved those guys, love watching them. I remember Ben all the way back in sort of 2012. That safety car video of all that time ago. I don't know if anybody remembers that, where he got taken out by the safety car. Was it F1 2012 or F1 2013? Either way, I've been watching him since then. And then Jimmy I've been watching for a couple of months, actually. It came up on one of my YouTube things. I thought, you know what, I'm going to give him a try. Fell in love with it ever since, and it was really great to meet him at the event. But yeah, it was an event that basically flew by. It was fantastic. Absolutely loved it. I even got to do a stint of commentary. It was only 90 minutes, but my goodness, it was such a lot of fun. And now it's coming down from that, trying to recover from that, and Back to normality now as we head back to TTL F1, and here we are. Let me just try and find the driver standings for you. My app here is being a little bit slow. Let me have a look and see. Oh, that was another thing. Pursuit is going to be on a wheel tonight as his controller's not working. Looks like Little Piece is doing the same things. And well, let's have a look here. Scrolling up, here we go then. So the constructors then, Mercedes 346. The next car is the Red Bull cars. They're on 170. It is a huge gap between the two cars now. McLaren are in third on 121. Williams are in fourth on 95. Force India are fifth on 84. Haas in sixth on 82. Toro Rosso in seventh on 73. Ferrari with their two new drivers will be hoping to improve on 69 points. Renault are ninth on 52. Sauber are 10th on 11 points. I believe we have two reserve drivers tonight. At least they are reserves now. Dave is one of the reserves. Actually, I think it was just the one reserve, if I think about it. I think it was just the one reserve, and that is Dave M, who's joining us tonight. We'll see which driver picks him, which team, I should say, picks him up. And I'll tell you what, after my stint on Sunday, I was exhausted. Yeah, it was crazy, absolutely crazy. Loved it though, absolutely loved it. Would I do it again? You bet I would, absolutely. Let's have a look then, and hopefully we're not too far away from the Hungarian Grand Prix. Leave a like, leave a comment, let's have a chat during the race. And whilst we do that, we will look at the drivers' standing. So Squeezy is on the top on 236 points. Ollie is in second on 116, with Spike in third on 110. Sean is in fourth on 77, with Lighty in fifth on 65. Laronix, as a reserve, is in sixth place on 58 points. Mays in seventh on 43 points. Zenki, who can't be here tonight, he's on 42 points. Siege is in ninth on 40 points, with White in 10th on 38 points. Pursuit there in 11th on 19 points. He's got a good point scoring streak behind him. He'll be looking to try and carry that forward. Little Piece there rejoining very recently. He's in 12th place on 12 points. Alan Kay is 13th on 9 points. Graham in 14th on 7 points. Plaster, who's now up to a Ferrari driver for this race, is currently in 15th place on 6 points. He was a reserve before tonight. Dave M, as a reserve, is 16th on 4 points. Yuzi in 17th on 3 points. And Damien, who has had to depart the league, remains on the single point. We do hope that Damien returns in his own time. I hope he's doing okay. And obviously, we'll be looking to him, see if he comes back at the end of the season. But the thing about tonight is we've got to see if anybody can stop Squeezy. And at the moment, Ollie and Spike look like they're prime contenders. As I just adjust my microphone a little bit, just so it's away from my face and it doesn't peek out. I know I have a habit of peeking the mic, but well, there's not a lot I can do about that. Well, there is. I should stop shouting. That's probably what that means. But yeah. Anyway. Well, we shall see then. Dry for qualifying, and I haven't had a chance to look at the YouTube chat just yet. So let me have a quick look at this now, as my phone is running very slowly, just at the right point that I wanted to use it and have a look at the YouTube comments. So I'm going to have to do it on my laptop now, which is absolutely fantastic. You wonder why I pay a fortune for my phone and it freezes at the vital moment. Anyway, let's have a look at what you guys are saying in the chat then. As scroll on down. It's about time he joined the No ABS Brigade. Well, that's interesting. I can't remember who you're talking about, Spike. I'm not going to make assumptions, so I'll just leave you to it then. Let us know what time you did your commentary. Well, I would tell you, but at the moment my phone is frozen. That's the only place I wrote it down. I believe it was at the 58-minute mark, 58 minutes and 21 seconds. That's on the first day, part 3, because the Wi-Fi or the internet there went off twice in the first couple of attempts it ran. Since then, though, it was fine. So I think it was 58 minutes and 21 seconds of part 3 of the stream that was 9 AM till 1:30 PM to 9 PM. And of course, they did a Le Mans start at Butmore, so they had the carts all lined up in a row, and yeah, you had to run to the carts as the Union flag was waved down. had to run to the carts and your entire team pushed you away. So that was really nice to be a part of all of that. Absolutely fantastic. And we'll have to see if it becomes an annual thing. And anyway, we'll stop talking about the 24 hours of Buckmore. We're here to qualify here for the Hungarian Grand Prix. And there is Dave M there, who's out there on a set of soft tyres. Your 3 tyres for tonight then, ultra softs, softs and mediums. We completely skip out the super soft tyres. So in reality, the ultra softs then become the ultra softs become basically the qualifying tyres. So you might be seeing a couple of drivers out there just solely focusing on the ultra soft tyres. There is Ollie, who's coming back in, slides his way back into the pit lane. His insta-lappery is complete, and he'll be looking to basically set another lap time. My phone restarted itself entirely, as Ollie's actually retired from the session there. Now, is there something I've missed? I'm going to guess there is. I'm going to guess I missed a massive detail there, but anyway, we're riding on board with Yuzi then on his out lap, but Squeezy's actually retired from the session as well. So it looks like he's retired in the pit lane. So yeah, unless I've missed something major then. They're both retired from the session. There is Sean then making his way now down towards turn 1. We have 17 drivers here tonight, which is always good to see. And that's a Force India around the wrong way. And that is Pursuit, I believe. Is it? Yes, it is. Pursuit facing the wrong way, just on the exit of turn 1. And a little bit embarrassing, but he goes on his way then and pulls to one side to see if he can let some other cars through. And it's got to be careful here about the Renault coming through. And if he's not careful, he might get disqualified. He's got to keep moving in that car, and he gets the message there. There is George Roberts, who's trying to pick up his trade then in the McLaren team. Of course, they've signed him to the end of the season. And he's now coming around the final corner. This looks like a flying lap from him. So it looks like it's going to be Dave M who qualifies first as he heads towards the line. No, the McLaren then comes across. So it's a 1:19.3 from George Roberts. And sets the benchmark then. There's Dave M. So he's doing some rallycross. You can see there's some damage there to his front wing on the left-hand side. So he's going to have to come back to the pit lane. Full-time Ferrari driver then, Crazy Legs, makes his way darting through that S section of turn 10 and 11, running slightly wide on the exit of 11 as we now head our way down towards turn 12 and 13. There is Sean then, 1:18.3 on a set of medium tyres. Good lap time from him as he makes his way now down towards turn 1. Yusi then making his way around the final corner as he makes his way now towards the start finish line. And where can he go then? He goes top, 1:17.3 on a set of ultra soft tyres. White then, who is currently now at the Haas team, it's his debut for the Haas team, is Crazy Legs now, 1:16.6 in the Ferrari. Encouraging signs from him. Here comes White then around the final corner. That's Spike going third there on the set of medium tyres. Where can White himself? He puts himself ahead of Spike by 0.4 of a second on exactly the same tyres then. So as we now head down towards turn 1, that is White in third place. Plaster then comes across the line to start a new flying lap. Meanwhile, Little Piece here looks like he's about to set a lap here. It was a 1:18.3, but it was invalidated, so he's got to go again. Alan Kay then, now making his way up the hill through turn 5, now coming towards 6 and 7 here. Got to be careful on the curbs here, they can really unsettle the car if you're not careful. As he now makes his way through turn 8, then to turn 9, and with those medium tyres you really find that there's very little grip out there, especially when the track is green. We now make our way through turn 11. Oh, that's Alan Kay losing the back end, he's into the wall, and Alan Kay's out of qualifying. Losing the back end through turn 11. And the Renault there is out of qualifying. Really frustrating that for Alan Kay. And by the looks of it, he will be starting at the back of the grid. Pursuit then, struggling out there it seems. He's now had to pull off again. And currently in 8th place with an unrepresentative 1:54.4. As Spike then goes 5/10 faster almost. And puts himself back up to 3rd place with a 1:17.558. And as we head down towards turn 1, he's got some good laps going on those medium tyres. So Crazy Legs is still top of the table with Yuzi in 2nd. And then it is Spike in 3rd, White in 4th, Sean in 5th. Little Piece now jumps up to 5th as I say that. Sean dropping down to 6th. Then it's George Roberts in 7th, Siege in 8th, Pursuit in 9th. Dave M is on an outlap yet to set a time, as is Mace, who's currently in the pit lane. Plaster, Lighty and Graham, we are all waiting for lap times. We've lost Ollie, Squeezy and Alan Kay from this qualifying session. There is Graham then on the Ultra Softs, making his way now through turn 11. This is where we saw Alan Kay lose the back end just a couple of minutes ago. As Graham now heads his way down towards turn 12. I always use the example of Kimi Räikkönen losing that back end and still making an overtake stick. That's always one of my favourite moves. But there it is. Graham then making his way around the final corner and on his way to start a flying lap in the south, and making his way now down towards turn 1. There is the Red Bull of Siege emerging from the pit lane, currently 8th place on an unrepresentative 131.4. And then very patient on the throttle on the exit of turn 1, using that DRS down now towards turn 2. Very easy to lock up on the entry into turn 2. You've got to get the exit right, and it looks like you're going flat out through turn 3 there. Now right on board with the salvos, and we make our way up the hill now towards turn 4. Now the long right-hander of turn 5, have to be really patient here. That curve on the inside, if you clip it, you do run the risk of spinning the car around. Graham now heading through turns 6 and 7 through that chicane. As we now make our way towards turns 8 and 9. You can see there Graham just taking it really easy on his first lap out onto the circuit. But as you can see, it seems to be working for him at the moment. As he now makes his way through turn 11, now on the run down towards turn 12. And we shall see what sort of lap time Graham is going to set then. Now coming towards this long left-hander as we head through turn 13. Lots of lines you can take through there. And now Graham will now make his way around the final corner. There's the exit there, DRS open, and Graham heads his way towards the line. It's a 117.9 on a set of ultra soft tyres. Spike then, still out there. He's on a set of medium tyres, but I believe this is going to be him coming back to the pits. No, it's not. So there is Spike then, making his way around the final quarter once again. And looks like he's going to go for yet another lap here. Making his way now down the start from straight down towards turn 1. A little bit of a lock-up on entry, but nothing too major then. Third place in the championship right now. Is looking to try and iron out these mistakes in qualifying. Locks up into turn 2 then. But again, no real harm done. Flying through turn 3. Watch the exit there. As we now make our way up the hill through this fast left-hander of turn 4. Spike loses that back end. Manages to keep in control of it. But something tells me Spike's going to back out of that lap, or at least he's going to come back to the pit lane. And yeah, you can see he's turned his ERS down again, losing the back end as we headed through turn 6 there, carrying a little bit too much speed through the chicane then. And yeah, it looks like those tyres are taking a bit of a beating. Dave M, meanwhile, is up into 2nd place on those soft tyres as he makes his way back towards the pit lane. Spike out there. I've got Graham coming back into the pits. There's Siege then, who is looked like he set a lap time then, 1:18.1, so it's much more representative that time around on a set of medium tyres. As we make our way now down the hill towards turn 2. 8 minutes of qualifying to go, and Crazy Legs is still on top, 116.6 there, so you can just about see it in the trees. Dave M in 2nd on a 117.0. It's Yuzi in 3rd on a 117.3. There is Light E, who set a 117.6 on some medium tyres. He goes up to 5th place now. There is the 88 car of Spike making his way now back to the pit lane. Sheeran here making his way, almost tiptoeing through turn 13. We now make our way through turn 14 now. And coming out of the final corner along the start finish line, and Crazy Legs sets a 116.2, goes even quicker on a fresh set of ultra soft tyres. So the two-time champ here is looking to make his return, but of course remember, he's on some ultra soft tyres. Now the ultra soft tyres, of course, will mean you go quicker, but the only problem is that they're very, well, less durable, let's say, much less durable than the soft tyres. So whilst Crazy there might be able to get away from the runners behind him, it'll be interesting to see how many of them actually start and actually try to qualify on the ultra soft tyres. There's Sean then, riding those curbs. He's now on a set of soft tyres. There are yellow flags somewhere in Sector 2, but it's all behind Sean. You just saw a green flag just on the right there. And Pursuit, 118.4 on a set of soft tyres. He's been having a good point scoring run recently, but today just needs to keep on putting in those lap times. I think that's Harry Cooper, who I believe is Pursuit out there. He's saying that he's so bad on the wheel. Well, I wasn't going to be the one to say it. Here comes Sean towards the line, and he goes P3, 117.393. And for the Haas then, this is a driver who's in great form and is looking here. It just seems like Sean improves every single race. You know, he's faced with adversity, especially last time out in the German Grand Prix. Lost a chunk of his front wing, had to pit in early, still came back to finish, I believe, in 6th place. So, you know, he's got a good head on those shoulders, has Sean, and he's proved that time and time again. And it won't be long now, I don't think, before Sean finds himself on yet another podium. Of course, he got that podium last time. Well, I shouldn't say last time, but in Monaco. He got the podium. He got the 3rd place there in a race that had few starters and few finishers. But Sean was one of those that made it to the end and got 15 points to add to his tally. So I think Sean here might have a good shot at a podium. Light E now making his way towards the start-finish line. He's already 2/10 up through the 2nd sector. Can he go quicker now? So 117.5 doesn't move him any further up, I don't believe. Actually, no, I tell a lie. That does move him ahead of Spike then. Up into 5th place he goes. I can always tell now my headset is coming towards the end of its life. It's some sort of connection issue in the controller, which is great. Because every so often, all the sound are going to my left ear and then back to both. So I can definitely tell it's coming to the end of its life. But it shall continue. It's been my trusty headset for the last 2 years, and Pursuit has actually left the session. So not good for the Force India driver. He's currently in 11th place, as that is Light E completely cutting the chicane. And actually, he's run out of fuel completely now. That solid red light on the fuel icon means that the car is out of fuel and in low fuel mode. So he's going to have to tiptoe his way back towards the start-finish line and towards the pit lane. There is White then, obviously in his new colours. In the Haas car, there is Light E. Run out of fuel then, taken to the outside. Pursuit has joined back as White now heads towards turn 12. Now coming towards this long left-hander of turn 13. Keeping the back end in check then as White now makes his way towards the pit lane, currently in 7th place. Sean in the other Haas will have some good stuff on his cards. In fact, I believe that is 0.005 of a second quicker than Yuzi on what is basically 2 compounds difference. So let's keep going then from the Haas driver. There is Mays, who finally emerges out on circuit, as he so often does, as Plaza has retired from the session in the Ferrari. He'll qualify no higher than 12th place. Mays now making his way down towards turn 1. Keeping it nice and easy on the exit. DRS open on the run down towards turn 2. Awkward braking zone turn 2. You can use that curb on the right hand side. As you can see there, bit of understeer from the Renault on the turn in, but seemed to find the grip in the middle of the corner. Now flying through turn 3. It descends, then ascends up towards turn 4. Shut the car in here, and you're hoping that it can ride the curb as you now make your way through turn 5. Wide on the entry, but it keeps it tight for the exit of turn 5 as you make your way up the hill now towards the chicane of turn 6 and 7. Watch the sleeping policeman on the inside of those curbs. They can really unsettle the car. Using the curve now as we head through turn 8, then through turn 9. You've got to be really patient through here and let the aero do its work. Now coming through turn 10, you can go full throttle through here. Now turn 11, how brave are you? Mays drops a gear, uses that curve on the exit as we now head downhill towards turn 12. One of the 90-degree corners around this track. Using that curve as the inside, we now make our way down towards turn 13. Braking zone is just where it dips down on the circuit. Again, wide exit to try and prioritise the entry in towards turn 14. Very patient here. Watch that barrier on the inside. Very patient on the throttle. Down about halfway through. DRS opens as we head towards the start-finish line. Mays then 10th place with that lap. 117.976 from the Renault driver. Just about into the top 10. 2 minutes to go then, and we're expecting cars to now rejoin the circuit. As there is Siege, who is on an outlap right about now. At least I think it's an outlap. It might have been a flying lap, but he had to abandon. But he will get another shot, is it? assuming that the car has the fuel to do it, as Yuzi has retired from the session, as has George Roberts. So they will both no longer be taking any part in today's qualifying session. There is Graham. They're making his way now down towards turn 13. It's turn 13. As we now make our way up the hill towards turn 14, Graham here on a flying lap, wide on the entry of turn 14. That's to prioritise the exit. As we now head in the DRS zone, where can the Sauber go? He goes second, 1:17.0 for Graham on the ultra soft tyres. So he's one of the low point scorers in the season so far, but second in qualifying at the moment with just 60 seconds on the clock. There is Dave M on an out lap. Now that's going to be interesting. He should be able to make it. It'll be very, very close. He's got a Ferrari behind him here of Crazy, as he now makes his way down towards that chicane now. Pretty interesting to see what he can do out here. There's Little Piece, by the way. He's making his way around the final corner, and Siege has retired. He's qualified 4th place so far. Little Piece in the Toro Rosso, where can he go? He goes now into the top 10, jumps Maze, it's a 1:17.6, and you can see there he's going for another run. There is White then, I believe on a set of soft tyres, now making his way through turn 5, that long right-hander. You've got to be very patient on the throttle there as we make our way towards turns 5 and 6. At the moment then, White then looked like he struggled with turn 7 there, but he'll carry on with the lap. And there is Spike then, who's going back out on a set of ultra tyres, but coming back into the pits and loses that back end on the entry. Luckily though for him, the car resets, and well, Spike's saying that he needs to really get on top of qualifying at the moment. Again, nothing doing this time around. Here comes Light E towards the line, second place on a set of soft tyres, a 1:16.5. Good lap time from the Force India there. There's Dave M, who's currently on a set of ultra soft tyres. Razor Legs has also retired from the session, so no improvement from him then, from the two-time champ. Here comes Little Piece then, around the penultimate corner. I believe we only have 2 cars now out on circuit. Toro Rosso is one of them, as we make our way now around the final corner. With Little Piece, what can he do? DRS is open in the Toro Rosso. Can he get higher than 10? Yes, he can. 6th place for the Toro Rosso, 1:17.3. Out qualifying Sean then. And here comes Dave M around the final couple of corners. What can he do in the Williams? We've had to employ the single reserve driver, Have Williams, but here comes Dave M now up towards the line. What can he do? He sticks it on pole position. Dave M then with a great lap time. Pole position for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Who saw that coming? Well then, let's have a look at the qualifying results then as we head towards round number 12. And it is going to be Dave M who puts it on pole position. Didn't quite see what the lap time was. It was a 1:15.6. Good lap time from Dave M. Crazy Legs then will be starting in 2nd place, 1:16.2. It's Lighty in 3rd. It's Graham in 4th. Siege in 5th with Little Piece in 6th. Sean 7th with UC in 8th. And Spike down in 9th place. White rounding out the top 10 in his first race for Haas, I should say. Mays just outside the top 10 in 11th place with Pursuit in 12th. Blaster 13th. George Roberts 14th. Ollie, Squeezy and Alan Kay did not manage to set the time during this qualifying session. They occupied the last 3 places on the grid. So Dave M on pole position in the Williams for round number 12. Williams lost both their drivers, employed Dave M as a reserve. He's done a quarter of the job, I would say, putting it on pole position. Now you've got 35 laps, and also he qualified on the ultra soft tyres. When we have a look at the top 10, we will of course you know, have a look at tyre strategy, because that is one main thing around Hungary. Track position is very important around here. Overtaking is very limited. You do have the DRS zone down the start of the straight, all the way down towards turn 1. You can try and sling it up the inside on the right hand side as you head towards the braking zone. Of course, you've got the second DRS zone as you head down towards turn 2 if you want to have another bite at the cherry. Obviously, the camber of the corner allows you to try and go around the outside at that corner. We've seen it many times before. In terms of other overtaking opportunities, well, there aren't many out on circuit. Turn 6, well, if you're brave enough and you're already ahead, you can certainly try it. Turn 12 is a really interesting braking zone down towards there. You can try and move up the inside, but the problem is turn 10 is flat out. Turn 11, you drop a gear. and come off the accelerator slightly. So if you get the good run that you need going down towards turn 12, by all means go for it. But yeah, overtake opportunities around the Hungary are very, very limited. As we head now with Dave M. He is going to be on pole position for this one. Again, on some ultra soft tyres. Gracie will be behind him again on those purple ultra soft tyres. Lighty in third place on soft tyres. Look out for him. He's been wanting a good result for a while. There's Graham there in fourth place. And on those ultra soft tyres. Siege is in fifth on soft tyres with Little Piece in sixth on softs. Sean is seventh on softs, usually eighth on ultras. Spike is the first of the medium runners. It's going to take a lot to get some temperature into those tyres. But White there is in 10th place, just rounding out the top 10. Fresh set of softs for Maze, as well as Pursuit, who starts in 12th. Blaster in 13th, George Roberts in 14th. Fresh set of medium tyres for Ollie in 15th and Squeezy in 16th. And is a fresh set of soft tyres for Alan Kay, who starts at the back of the grid, having crashed out of qualifying. Let's have your predictions in the chat then as we make our way with the pack down towards turn 12. Who is going to win today's race? Dave M here on those ultra soft tyres. Well, we're looking at around about 8, maybe 9 laps at a push on these ultra soft tyres. They won't last very long at all in this race. But as Dave M now makes his way around the final corner, what is he going to do? Is he going to try a 2-stop? Is he going to try the 1-stop? Try and go on to a set of medium tyres? It's going to be very difficult if he does that. But TTL F1 is brought to you by WeakWiFiSolutions.com, who also sponsor the Driver of the Day award. It's also sponsored by A-Logo, who provide all the graphics for the league. And they also sponsor the fastest lap of the race award. We are moments away here from round number 12, here of TTL F1 of season number 13. It really has been a case of unlucky for some and lucky for one. But Squeezy finds himself down into 16th place. Ollie joins him. And Spike, the best of the rest at the moment, 9th place. 3rd place in the championship. And there is Dave M ready for the lights to come on. And here we are then, counting up towards those 5 red lights. Round 12 is underway, and what are the starts like? Looks like the Williams there has got a fantastic start. Crazy gets a bunch of wheel spin. He's had a terrible start then as we head now down towards turn 1. You can see Lighty there trying to now go up the inside as we head towards turn 1. That's the Sauber there having to take evasive action. The Williams and the Ferrari touch, and that is Crazy. He's gone around it. He's taken Lighty with him. Oh, unbelievable. Crazy there, and there's also a Toro Rosso involved as well. That looks like Little Piece. It's both Toro Rossos involved actually. Little Piece and Yuzi there, both caught up in that one. Crazy stuff as we now head through turn 3 up towards turn 4. Dave M still leads then. It is Graham in 2nd and Sean now is in 3rd place. What a start from Sean. Had to pick his way through that car park there. But you can see there, Siege is up to 4th place. Spike is 5th. What about Squeezy though? He's now up to 6th place. What a start from the Mercedes. And now he's behind his teammate, and I wonder if team orders are going to be in play here. Spike said if the right moment came along, he would move to one side. But that is about it at the moment, as Alan Kay seems to have run into a little bit of problem here. And he's off the track completely. And he's pulled to one side. I wonder if that's... I don't think he's crashed out there. But as you can see, that is the Haas and the Mercedes, the McLaren in the background there, as Alan Kay has left the session. Meanwhile, there's a McLaren up the inside of White then, as he has to limp his way back towards the pit lane. So he was actually losing positions there, left, right and centre with that damaged front wing. Here riding on board with Cisen as he chases Sean behind him as we head now down towards turn 1. And Maze there is under attack then from Ollie, who tries to make his way through the field. Now he's back up to 7th place. A crazy start to the Hungarian Grand Prix. Crazy Legs, White, Yuzi and Little Piece all caught up in that turn 1 incident. And decipher that one if you can. Crazy start to the Hungarian Grand Prix. Meanwhile, the Mercedes here have a bit of a dilemma on their hands. Squeezy picks up a 3-second time penalty. We're only on lap 2 of this race. But Squeezy here, right on the tail of his teammate right about now. It is Dave M. Oh, that's Spike running wide on the exit of turn 7 there. Runs onto the grass, and that is a position gain for him. Meanwhile, then Sean is desperately trying to find a way past Graham here as we now head down towards turn 12. No move on the cars there then. As we now head through towards turn 13. He's now trying to go up the inside of Sean there. Nothing doing there. Sorry, the inside of Graham, I should say. That's Sean going up the inside. Couldn't quite get my words out there. But what this battle is allowing is Dave M to get away. He's now 3.5 seconds ahead of Graham as he sets a 1:20.0. There is Sean then in the slipstream of the Sauber as you now make our way now down towards turn 1. DRS is enabled, but it won't be really in use until next lap. Sean goes up the inside at turn 1, and does he try and shut the door on the Sauber? Yes, he does. But to be honest with you, I don't think the Sauber's battling too hard there. We've got yellow flags in sector 3. We'll have to wait and see what that's all about. As it sees then, that looked like a little bit of a tap on Graham there. Oh, and that's the squeezy there, losing the back end completely. He's now off the track, and he's lost 2 positions there to Spike and Ollie. And that is what Ollie wanted to see. He's now up in position now, trying to chase down Spike. That just looked like the back end of Squeezy's car then, into turn 3, wasn't having it. And now he's lost 2 positions there, now finds himself down to 7th place. But take nothing away from Ollie and Squeezy at the moment. They've had a fantastic start. They started down in 15th and 16th. Big shout out to Sean as well, who now finds himself up to 2nd place. That was a great start from him. Unfortunately, there's no replays here, so we can't really see how that all unfolded and took place. But what I can tell you, though, is that there were 4 cars involved in that start at turn 1. That's all I can tell you for now. Lap 3 will soon become lap 4 any moment now. There you are. Lap 6 over to lap 4. And you can see then drivers will have DRS for the first time this race. For Siege, that's going to be a little bit of a nightmare because it means Graham has the DRS on Sean up ahead of him as we now head down towards turn 1. That is Spike, of course, in 5th place, looking to put some pressure on Siege here. He's also looking to try and attack Graham as we now head down towards turn 2. And of course, with that DRS, Graham, it's going to be very, very difficult for Siege to find a way past. But that is Squeezy and Ollie. Now, is that them getting caught up on the inside of turn 3? Unbelievable stuff. That might have been Squeezy tapping the rear of Ollie. It sent him into a spin. And Mace says, thank you very much. I'll take those 2 positions away from you. That's Plaster running a little bit wide. And Squeezy taking full advantage of that one. Meanwhile, Ollie's now found a way past Pursuit then. Who, of course, is on that wheel and says, my goodness, I'm so slow. But currently running in 8th place. Not too bad then from the Force India driver. Meanwhile, Siege is still behind Graham. And look at this. He's found the gap. Up the inside he goes. And on the run now down towards turn 12. That's all the gap he needed. Has the inside line for turn 12 and makes the move stick. Siege now up to 3rd place. That's all he was looking for. That little bit of a mistake. And he was able to capitalise on it. Squeezy, meanwhile, now finds his way past Pursuit. He's now up to 8th place. And the rivalry between Ollie and Squeezy could reach boiling point at some point if this battling continues. As we now head towards lap 5, there is Spike then. It's his turn now to have a go at Graham as we now head down towards turn 1. He's got the inside line, remember, he's on the medium tyres. He's got the inside line. Now he'll shut the door on the exit, and that is move complete then. Graham will have the DRS on Spike as we now head down towards turn 2, but unfortunately for him, he's just slightly too far back. Blaster, meanwhile, looks like he's going to try and put some pressure on Pursuit. And of course for Ferrari, it's been a time of turmoil recently. They just need some stability, and they're hoping that their 2 signings, Faster and Crazy, can provide that. Currently got 1 point at the moment in Plaster. Meanwhile, that is George Roberts on the back of Little Piece. Little Piece is now up to 12th place once again after that terrible start. And we've got yellow flags in Sector 2. And that looks like it's Dave M. Dave M's run into a problem here, running all on his own. And he's off the track. Now that is at turn, I believe, turn 9, because here comes turn 10. I don't think there's anything wrong with that car. I think he just lost the back end. I thought it might have been a puncture or something like that, but no. Dave M's made a mistake out there, and it's cost him the lead of this race. And that is not what he needed. He was running comfortably in the lead. And that means then he drops all the way down to 8th place, and in fact, he thinks he's ruined those tyres completely. He now comes into the pits, as does Graham. So those 2 Ultra runners come into the pits as Crazy Legs picks up a 3-second time penalty. Lap 6 of the Hungarian Grand Prix. It is Sean in the lead on those soft tyres. It's Siege in 2nd, Spike in 3rd. Maze there running in 4th with Ollie in 5th and Squeezy in 6th. Pursuit is in 7th with Plaster on his tail in 8th place. Lighty looking to take advantage. He's in 9th with Little Piece there in 10th place. George Roberts in 11th with Graham re-emerging from the pits in 12th place. White, his first team in the Haas. It's not going well at all, but he was involved in turn 1. Dave M 14th. He's rejoined. Could have been a lot higher than that. Uzi there in 15th. Alan Kay, who was disconnected from the session, he's running in 16th, and Crazy there, rounding off the last of the runners. He's currently in 17th place. Have a look at this then, 4-car battle here for 7th place. We're running aboard with Light E as he looks to try and chase down Plaster and Pursuit, his teammate in front of him. And Pursuit is hoping to keep this point scoring run going. And he knows that means no mistakes as we see him run a little bit wide there. So does Light E as the four-cylinder driver looks for a way past. And of course, Light E, his old team, Ferrari, will be... I wonder if they're going to be regretting their decision as Plaster runs a little bit too deep in towards turn 13. He's able to recover from it through turn 14. Now, the thing about Light E here is he has to prove Ferrari wrong here. Runs a little bit wide on the exit of turn 14. That might get an opportunity to Little Piece then. You can see the straight line speed of that four-cylinder right about now is keeping him in close company with the Ferrari, and he sort of makes up for that mistake. Meanwhile then, Squeezy has found a way past Ollie, this time with no contact whatsoever. Squeezy up to 5th place, and through he goes. Spike, meanwhile, is trying to chase down the two front runners of Siege and Sean. And he's currently in 3rd place, looking to try and change that, of course. There is Pursuit then in 7th place, with Plaster in 8th, Lighty 9th, and Another Piece in 10th place. And that looks like Plaster trying to battle through turn 5. And it looks a little slow through turn 5, that's for sure. Let's now make our way through the chicane now of 6 and 7. And Lighty is now up a position. He's now up to 8th place, as that is Little Piece now trying to get the inside as he of Plaster. Runs across the curb and across the grass. And that means he loses a bunch of time there. Now that did look like Crazy Legs who was in trouble there. He did drop behind Alan Kay once again. And remember, Alan Kay's a ghost car here. And there is your leader there. Lap 8 of this Grand Prix. Sean still leads, but Siege and Spike behind him both have DRS, looking to make use of it. As Crazy Legs now back up to 16th place, overtaking the ghost car of Alan Kay. On the run now, down towards turn 2. And let's have a look here. Sean still holding on to this lead. I wonder how much pressure he's under here. One podium this season already for Sean as he climbs his way up that ascent through turn 4. We've already seen Dave M become victim of that mistake. Ollie here is trying to stick onto the back of Squeezy as we now head our way through turn 4. But Squeezy looking to try and keep his head down here and keep that pace going. He's been involved in a couple of incidents today already, but he'll want to keep a clean slate for now as he now makes his way through turn 8 and 9. As we now make our way through turns 10 and 11. Here comes turn 10. Then here comes turn 11, you drop a gear here, you grip the car and you can see there how much more grip Squeezy has, even on the medium tyres. That looks like Graham is involved in something here. Yes, he is. He's around on the exit of turn 5 there. So he must have lost the car. He must have dipped a wheel onto that curb on the inside there. Something I said not to do. Because what that can do is unsettle the car and you go spinning all the way around. He's then running a little bit deep on the exit. This could be a chance for Squeezy then. You can already see how much more of a better exit the Mercedes got then as we now make our way down towards turn 1. He's got the inside line and he moves over to take the racing line away from Mays, and he's now up to 4th place. Ollie, meanwhile, now has a chance. Heading now down towards turn 2. But Ollie here has to stay behind Mays for just a little bit longer. Here's your battle for the lead then. The top 3 in the same picture as Sean leads them through turn 4 and now through turn 5. Spike here looking to get a good result today after that qualifying session, finds him in 8th place. Ollie meanwhile still on the back of Mays as he looks to try and find a way past into the chicane of 6 and 7. Nothing doing there then. That's Yuzi who spun his way around, and that is Yuzi losing a front wing entirely then. So the Toro Rosso in 17th place now has to move out of the way, which he does. But he takes out some braking boards with him. And now he has to tiptoe and really limp his way back towards the pits then. He has to really get off the track here, which he does, in order to try and find his way back to the pits. But it's been a miserable day so far for Yuzi, as Crazy Legs is actually into the pits here. And look at this now. Spike looks like he's got a good run on Siege here. He's got the double toe, remember. Will he look for a move to the inside of turn 1? He certainly looks for it. And you can see there Siege leaves the door open. And Spike is happy to try and take advantage on the run now down towards turn 2. And Spike gets it. Up into second place he goes, and that is a great move from the Mercedes driver. Meanwhile, Lighty gets past Pursuit. Can't help feel that was a little bit team orders-y there. Team orders-y, if you like. But Lighty now up to 8th place. Little piece here. Now looking at the back of Plaster. Heading through turn 2, now through turn 3. Little piece has to be careful of this back end there. Looked a little bit loose as he headed through turn 3. And you can see here Plaster now coming in towards turn 4. As we now head towards 6 and 7. He's still putting that pressure on the Ferrari. And Ferrari will just be hoping for a decent point scoring finish today. Yellow flags in sectors 1 and 2, and that is Graham out of the race. So Graham has retired from today's Hungarian Grand Prix, as has Yuzi, who retired in the pit lane. So we are now down to 15 runners here. In fact, it's 14 runners, because Alan Kay is a ghost car. And meanwhile then, here comes Spike, looking for the lead of the race. Move to the right to get the slipstream. Now to the left as he tries to go round the outside in towards turn 1. And he'll have the better traction, which he gets. Spike then takes the lead of the Hungarian Grand Prix on lap number 11. Great move from the Mercedes driver. He picked off those top two, one by one, into the same corner. Different ways of doing it. And he takes the lead of the race, which is what he needs. There is his teammate, by the way, Squeezy, behind him in 4th place. So after all of that, Squeezy picks himself up a 3-second time penalty, but still finds himself in relative distance to try and take this race win. And I wonder if he could do it. Meanwhile then, White gets past George Roberts. He's now up to 11th place. Little piece meanwhile still wanted to try and find a way past Plaster here. He knows where Plaster is weak, but the problem is he just can't take advantage of it. Now running through turn 5 on the run up towards 6 and 7. You can see here it's just a case. You can catch up to the car in front of you, fine. But overtaking them is a completely different question here. Plaster battling away with Little Piece. As we now make our way through turn 10, then through turn 11. The thing about Plaster is he won't fight a battle unless he knows he's got a good chance of winning it. So him defending against Little Piece here means, and it sends a signal to Little Piece, it says, I'm racing you. Get past me if you can. We now go through turn 13 here, and White is now putting Little Piece under a little bit of pressure here. And of course White wants to do well for his new team, having signed for them very recently. And now White with the DRS will be looking for a move in towards turn 1. And you can see how much he's revving that engine, White, as we now go down towards turn 1. Looks for a move, very late dive bomb here in towards turn 1. Can he try and get that move stick? He needs to get the better traction. Now they're running side by side as we head now down towards turn 2. The Toro Rosso has the inside line. White here has to go around the outside. It'll give him the inside line for turn 3 though. And he's got the move done. White then in the Haas. Brave stuff. But he takes away P10 from Little Piece. And now it's his turn to try and attack Plaster here. Through turn 4 they go. Now coming through turn 5. And White here looking for a move on Plaster as we head now towards 6 and 7. He does looking for a move up the inside. Nothing doing there though. Squeezy meanwhile gets past Siege. Didn't quite see the full context of that one, but Siege is now behind Squeezy. And Squeezy here will be looking for a move now past Sean to try and make this a Mercedes 1-2. And that is Siege now coming into the pits. Dives in having lost that position. Meanwhile then, White has made the move stick on Plaster. Will quickly jump back on board with Squeezy here, who looks for a move down towards turn 1. A little bit of contact between them, and contact again. But Squeezy this time, has he got the move done? Yes, he has. A little bit of contact between the two of them there. But Squeezy takes away 2nd place from Sean in this race. There is Pursuit then, who is currently in 6th place. That's the ghost car of Alan Kay, by the way, so no need to worry about that. But Siege then, who rejoins now in 8th place, just behind White. He actually does get DRS here on the run down towards turn 2, so that it won't be too bad for him. But he rejoins in 8th place then. That looks like a mighty battle here for 9th place at the moment. You can see that that's Dave M having to put in a recovery drive at the moment. He's now up to 10th place. That's George Roberts now fighting Plaster on the run up now towards turn 4. Dave M meanwhile now tries to move on Little Piece, who I believe has damage, and that's Dave M trying to go around the outside there. Little Piece there getting a little bit of a contact between the Williams there. But he's already got damage on the left hand side of his front wing there, so he's already struggling for grip right about now. as we now make our way through turn 8, through turn 9 there. It's always difficult to go through a ghost car. It can put you off slightly, but not this time. George Roberts here, looking for that way past. Oh, blast loose the back end, into the wall he goes. There's surely got to be damage to that car now, the way he hit that wall. Meanwhile, up at the front, in third place, Ollie's made a move on Sean. Up the inside it goes. A cleaner move this time for the Red Bull than probably Sean had last time out, but he's now down to fourth place. Meanwhile then, Siege is having to defend from Pursuit now as we make our way now down towards turn 1. Will Pursuit try and move? No, because White in sixth place there is able to hold off on that position. Meanwhile, Siege is on fresh tyres. He needs to make these fresh tyres work though. On the run now, down towards turn 2. He needs to get past White as soon as he possibly can. This is only going to cost him more and more time. The more time he's stuck behind White. Up the incline now towards turn 4. Because he'll chuck the car in now. And now he makes his way through turn 5. Still behind that Haas there. And again, this is where track position matters. Because it's so difficult to make an overtake stick around the Hungarian Grand Prix. And is that Pursuit in trouble? It is. And Pursuit has retired from the race. Now he's hit the wall there on the left-hand side. Front wing was still intact somewhat, but he would have had to come back to the pits to fix it. But Pursuit there has retired from the race, and he believes that is his day done. Packs up for the day. Siege there, still on the back of White through turn 12. And he knows now he's got to make this DRS his own stick here. As you can see, he's carrying much more grip through turn 13. On the run up now towards turn 14. And will this dirty air affect him? I don't think it will. It's all about mechanical grip really. Through the last corner, and you can see now DRS wide open. You can see he's closing and closing is the Red Bull. White doesn't know which way to defend as we head now down towards turn 2, or turn 1 I should say. Siege is up the inside. He's got to get the traction down. They're going to be running side by side now as we head towards turn 2. This is turn 2 now. As the Haas has the inside line, Siege will try and stick it around the outside. He might get the inside for turn 3. No, White shuts the door. Fantastic defending from White there. And he wants to be showing a good race in his new colours. He's doing just that. And he's holding off Siege here. Siege, we know, is a high caliber driver. And struggling to make his way past White here. Onto the grass he goes though. That's not going to help his turn in here. And in fact, yes, he understeers through turn 6. That's going to cost him time now. And meanwhile, up at the front, it's a Mercedes 1-2 at the moment. And that's not something we've said a lot this season. But we still have plenty of the race to go. When Spike crosses the line, we will have 20 laps to go. And there we go. 20 laps to go as Sean pits in from 4th place. As Mace does the same. He pits in now. Does White follow suit? Well, White there had to stop early. So he's currently, well, if you like, out of sync. But he does continue on for a couple more laps. As Siege here still tries to battle on. He'll have the DRS once again. As we now make our way towards turn 1. Looks like he's got a much better run out of the final corner. This time he's much more alongside then with the Haas as he makes his braking down towards turn 1. Up the inside it goes. And does he shut the door this time? Yes, he does. He slams the door on White, which is what White did to him last time out. Great battling between these two. And Siege finally gets the move done as White there runs a little bit deep in towards turn 2. Here come the Mercedes drivers then. 1 and 2 right now, and I wonder if Toto Wolff is saying to these two, don't battle each other. We're in a really good position right now. Squeezy will want the full 25 points. He'll want to keep his winning streak going. He won last time out, of course, and he'll want to win this time out. Spike still looking for his first win of the season, and I wonder if Squeezy's going to let him have this one. It is a big, big lead that Squeezy has in the championship, and his biggest rival, Ollie, is behind him. But you can see here Squeezy looking to try and get the better exit out of the final corner. DRS open then for Squeezy as Spike moves to the right hand side. He does all he can to try and defend this one. Here comes Squeezy down the left hand side as we now head down towards turn 1. That's going to be Spike who has the inside line. Squeezy then run out of road there. Couldn't quite make the move stick then. Spike is making his intentions clear. He does not plan to let his Mercedes teammate pass at all. He wants to battle here as we now head through turn 3. These two Mercedes battling here as we head now up towards turn 4. And see there Squeezy looking for a move but had to back out of it as Spike now under pressure picks up a 3-second time penalty. He'll be kicking himself at that one. All this is doing though is attracting the attention of Ollie. 1.8 behind this battle he is now. So we'll have to keep an eye on that gap then as Siege has pitted in. He's currently around about 18-19 seconds away from the leader. So at the moment, it's looking good here for the Mercedes crew. Despite running a little bit wide on the exit of turn 11 on the run down towards turn 12. You can see that Red Bull in the background of Ollie looking to try and make inroads, try and catch these two. And Squeezy runs deep into 13 to give him a better exit and a better entry into turn 14, and that is Spike coming in. So lap 17 then, and race leader Spike comes into the pits. So Squeezy will then inherit the lead, and you can see there's Spike locking up to really meet the pit limiter line then. So Ollie then moves up to second place. Now where is Siege out on track? He's now coming towards the final corner. Spike has just left his pit box then, and is making his way down the pit edge, or pit lane, towards the exit then. And Siege here, where will he rejoin Spike? It looks like he's going to rejoin behind Siege, and he does. And it looks like just behind as well. Heading now down towards turn 1, and it is just behind. So not great for Spike then. He rejoins behind Siege. And it looks like Siege with the 5-lap undercut there. Now, is that going to come back to haunt him, I wonder? At the moment, though, Spike in 4th place. Now, here's an interesting battle developing between Plaster and George Roberts. This is the battle for 11th place. And George Roberts looking to try and make inroads. He's rejoined behind Plaster, and he'll have the DRS then on the Ferrari. No points up for grabs for this one. As you can see there, George Roberts has run his ERS all the way down to 6% then. So he hasn't really got the full deployment down the straight. Meanwhile then, Dave M and Sean now trying to battle away for position here. And I wonder if Sean can try and get himself onto a podium here. It's going to be tough. But, well, not from the one for trying anyway. Ollie comes into the pits then from second place. So this looks like it's going to be moved onto the soft tyres. And there he goes. Comes in, soft tyres go on, and away he goes. And where will he rejoin out the second? Well, there is his teammate Siege coming down the start finish straight now. So Ollie will rejoin behind his teammate there. And it looks like he's going to rejoin behind Spike as well. Yes, he is. It's just the pit entrance there. Here comes Spike down the inside at turn 1. Eyeing up the move then. And is that taking second place away? It has. Spike then up to second place. A crucial move for the Mercedes driver. He's on a roll now as we now head towards turn 2. He's got the momentum behind him now, and what he'll aim to do is qualifying laps now till the end of the race. He's got a good feeling about this one. 18.5 seconds, that's enough to rejoin ahead of Squeezy when he decides to pit. It's Sean then, on the back of Dave M. Dave M, who qualified on pole position for this race, currently in 5th place. Not a bad recovery drive, but something tells me he needs to pit in again for a new set of soft tyres. Here comes Sean then in towards 6 and 7. And he'll be looking to try and make this move stick. The clouds are gathering and forming over the Hungaroring, but we're not expecting it to rain at any point. Here comes Squeezy into the pits then. He comes. And well under the speed limit as he crossed over the pit speed limiter line. In the pits he goes. And is that Ultrasofts? No, it is Ultrasofts going on to Squeezy's car. Ultrasoft tyres for the championship leader. Well, that is going to be a choice and a half here. He makes his way now down the pit lane, and Spike takes the fastest lap. There is the Mercedes there, who's just now going to rejoin. Where is he? Out on track then. Is Squeezy going to rejoin in second place? I think he is. Siege then will try and take a wide entrance in towards turn 1, but nothing doing. And that is Spike then, who rejoins ahead of Squeezy. But Squeezy is on old soft tyres, and he's going to have to try and make the last 16 laps. Now his tyres might be feeling the brunt of that performance towards the end of this race, that's for sure. But at the moment then, it is Spike in the lead. Lap 20 of this Grand Prix then, it is Spike in the lead with Squeezy in second. That is Siege in third with Ollie in fourth. Dave M is in 5th place, but we believe he has to stop again. Sean is in 6th. With Maze in 7th, White is in 8th, Lighty in 9th, Riverpiece is currently in 10th place with Plaster just outside the points, George Roberts in 12th, Razorlegs is in 13th, and he is the last of the runners at the moment. Alan Kay disconnected on lap 1. We had Nexus Pursuit, Graham and Uzi all retire from the Hungarian Grand Prix. And there is your race leader, Spike, who's making his way now around turn 13, but he's now under pressure from his teammate behind him. Now, if Squeezy can make those Ultra tyres last at the end of the race, well, he's already got a really good exit out of the final corner there. And ultra soft tyres versus soft tyres. There was only one way that battle was going to go. Squeezy then takes the lead of the Hungarian Grand Prix. Meanwhile, behind them, the two Red Bulls are battling away now. Ollie gets up the inside of Siege then. And Siege slightly loses the back end then. And now he's down to 4th place. So Ollie now up to 3rd place. And of course, the 3 championship contenders are now in the top 3. And that's not something we've seen a lot of in this one. As that was Plaster in the Ferrari, just getting well out of the way. I believe that was Plaster. Might have been Crazy, actually. Let me have a quick look. No, it was Crazy. I was wrong. I apologise, Plaster. But Sean here, still looking for a way past Dave M at the moment. Just can't seem to quite get it right now. Sean here, still trying to find that way past Dave M. And you can get frustrated around the Hungarian. You can make an unnecessary move. But talking about Squeezy then, rejoining on a set of ultra soft tyres. That's a bizarre one. I'll have to see how that works then. Going around turn 13 now, on the way up towards turn 14. Squeezy leads on lap 22. Spike in 2nd. On the soft tyres, you can see already that Squeezy's building that gap. He knows he has to now on these ultra soft tyres. Dave M here, still holding off Sean, doing enough down the straights to keep ahead. But there is a strong possibility he will have to stop again. But Sean simply can't take that risk. Behind him in turn 2, now coming through turn 3. And Sean just has to keep going, has to keep the move under threat here. Yellow flags in sector 2, and that is Crazy who's out of the race now and just crashed out on the exit. Oh, Sean onto the curb there, and a virtual safety car has been deployed through Crazy's crash out of this race then. So all the cars have to follow a delta as we now head our way around the circuit at a reduced pace whilst Crazy's car is cleared away. And what that means is Squeezy can save his tyres a little bit as he now heads his way down towards turn 13. So the delta is there to provide a time that everyone has to follow, and that way all the gaps remain very, very similar. This is a chance to regen some of that ERS to save some of those tyres. For some of them, they have to keep the tyres at a certain temperature, and Squeezy's now come into the pits once again. So that tells me that that was a mistake by the Mercedes crew. They put on the wrong tyres. A miscommunication maybe, which may have cost a lot here. And Squeezy will find himself rejoining possibly in that battle between Dave M and Sean at the moment, and he does rejoin behind it. So he now rejoins in 6th place. A disaster for Squeezy then. Meanwhile, Ollie has sensed the opportunity. He can sense that moment could be his. He's looking for win number 2 this season. Spike is looking for a win this season. Who is going to get a win here at the Hungary? Not to count out Squeezy or anything. He has rejoined in 6th place, 2.1 behind Sean. And that is Spike then very, very squirrely there as he headed through the chicane. But still, there was no way past. Just having a look at some of the stats then. And looking at Spike here. 4 third places this season. But hasn't finished anywhere else on the podium this season. Yet to get a win this season. Will the Hungarian Grand Prix be the one this time around? Meanwhile, with Ollie, it is, of course, a race win at the British Grand Prix. He's had 2 second places and 1 third place at the moment. Meanwhile, Siege here has only finished on the podium once this season. And in a troubled time this time around. Hasn't been turning up to races, and obviously there's no obligation to turn up to these races if you can't make them, of course, but it has cost him a chance at really getting some good positions. Currently running in 3rd place. Dave M, as far as I can see here, of course he is a reserve driver, so there's no detailed facts about him, of course, but currently running in 4th place. That's Squeezy then, getting past Sean as they now run down towards turn 4, but okay, you can see there Sean is putting Squeezy still under that pressure. He's now head through turn 4 and now on the way towards turn 5. Sean, of course, getting a sensational 3rd place at the Monaco Grand Prix. And other finishes have been sort of 7th and 2nd in the first 2 races of the season. Then you had 2 6th places, a DNS at Spain, but then came back with a podium at Monaco. And then you had a 6th place at Canada, 5th place at France, 6th place at Austria, a DNS at Britain. As we see, just jump on board with Squeezy at the moment then, as he looks to put pressure on Dave M. And this could be for 4th place now, as yes, Dave M gets it all out of shape on the exit of turn 11. There is Squeezy going right round the outside at turn 13. And with the fresher tyres, gets ahead of Dave M. And up to 4th place he goes. And meanwhile, at the front of the pack then, Spike is still under pressure from Ollie. Ollie wanted to try and move down the inside there. 11 laps to go here at the Hungarian Grand Prix. Spike still leads at the moment, with Ollie in 2nd place. And Spike having to do all of his defending now through turn 4. It's going to be tricky for him. But through turn 5 and towards turn 6 he goes. He's looking to just keep ahead, whatever it takes now. Meanwhile, behind them, we've got a battle developing for 5th place once again, as Sean looks for a way past Dave M. Still not happening though. And Mays has just been passed by White here. So White up to 7th place now. Little piece has Plaster in his sights. 1.5 seconds is the gap between those two. We focus on the battle for the lead of the race for now. And also the battle between 5th place on the run down towards turn 12. And again, Sean just can't find a way past. Back onto the lead then. 10 laps to go. As we see here, Ollie still trying to put pressure on the Mercedes here. Ollie looks for a move down the inside. Just filling those mirrors with a bit of Red Bull there. But that's all he can do for now. Jumping on board with Sean then, as he's still behind Dave M. I think Sean is as confused as I am how Dave M has managed to last those tyres 20 laps at the moment. As we now come down towards turn 1, Sean senses his opportunity. Tries to go up the inside, but he can't get that traction down. So frustrating for Sean then. He can't find a way past this Williams. And in towards turn 2 there. A little bit of a tap there. Don't think he meant to, but that just looked like it was frustration there. Sean looking for a gap now, looking for any way past, and this is the dangerous thing. You can get so frustrated being behind the same car for so long, you might go for a move that you wouldn't normally go for. Sean has to keep his composure here and wait for the right opportunity. As we now make our way through turn 6 and 7. Oh, he taps the rear of Dave M then, as he looks for a move up the inside, through turn 8, now through turn 9, and is that front wing damaged? This is why you have to be patient. This is why you have to keep your composure. You've got to realise that Dave M's tyres are coming towards the end of their life. And here comes Sean now up the inside at turn 12. Looking for a move up the inside. And again, still can't find a way past. Now coming towards turn 13. And it is Sean once again. Still cannot find that way through. As that is Dave M comes into the pits. And Sean says, finally, finally, I'm past Dave M. But it's not the way he would have wanted it to happen though. He would rather have got up past him on track about 5 laps ago. Lap 27 of this Hungarian Grand Prix. It is Spike still in the lead then, with Ollie keeping in close comfort here. Siege is in 3rd, 8.5 behind Ollie there. That is Squeezy, 2.9 behind Siege. Let's have a look at Little Piece here, who is currently on the back of Plaster. Loosed that back end very slightly then, on the run down towards turn 13. And the Toro also here is looking for a point at least. As we now make our way up towards turn 14 there. Looks for a move up the inside. Couldn't quite find it. And now along the start finish straight here. This looks like it's going to be sooner rather than later for Little Piece. He's on 5 lap old soft tyres. Plaster's on 13 lap old medium tyres. He goes down the inside. Covers off the inside line in towards turn 1. And that is Little Piece up into the points then. Meanwhile, Spike coming towards the line to start lap 28 of this Grand Prix. We have 8 laps to go, and Ollie here is looking for a move down the inside of turn 1. He's got a really good run there, still on the inside. Who's going to get the power down better? It's Spike for now, and Ollie is keeping Spike on his toes here as we now head down towards turn 2. Ollie looking for race win number 2 of the season, Spike looking for race win number 1 this season, and we know how good both of these drivers are, and they both want to take advantage of Squeezy down in 4th place right now. And Ollie will be hoping that Siege can keep Squeezy behind him for as long as possible. He's currently 9.2 now behind Ollie. So the gap between the two Red Bulls is increasing. I wonder if Siege here is just going to see if he can keep Squeezy behind. 1.6 is the gap. But Squeezy there taking out some brake boards, or at least markers anyway. He's pushing hard, but of course when you push hard like this, and you can lose that sort of discipline. He's got himself a couple of corner cutting penalties. And I think 9 seconds to be exact. So this could be a chance for Sean then to try and grab 4th place. All he needs to do is to see if Siege and Squeezy battle. Again, Ollie looking at the exit of turn 14. Try and get the DRS, but you see Spike there getting DRS off the ghost car of Alan Kay, which will keep him ahead. And Siege is into the pits. Siege into the pits. Well, that I wasn't expecting that. Maybe Siege doesn't think he can make it to the end, so he's coming now, presumably to put on some ultra soft tyres. And yes, ultra softs go on then. So Sean there, with the medium tyres, now goes up to 4th place. So that is, well, Siege then obviously didn't think he was going to make it to the end of the race. A big decision from the I should say Red Bull crew to pit in Siege then. But if that's what they think will work, then obviously Siege is going to follow suit then. He rejoins in 6th place behind the Haas's of Sean and White. So it's a good day for Haas so far, but we still have 7 laps of this race to go. And Siege has rejoined, of course, on a set of ultra soft tyres. Spike still holding on to this lead then. But of course, Spike does have at least 1 penalty. I haven't yet seen any penalties for Ollie. I could be wrong though. As we make our way through turn 13. Up the hill we go now towards turn 14. And Spike here still holding on to this lead. Meanwhile, there is Ollie looking, lurking, seeing if he can try and find a way past. He's had a look up the inside a couple of times so far. But here he comes now. You can see how much he's gaining with that DRS down towards turn 1. Looks for a move, but he backs out of it. Realises he's not close enough just yet. Meanwhile, that is Dave M getting ahead of Lighty off screen. And that is coming down towards turn 12. So Dave M now up into 8th place. What could have been for the Williams driver today. Had pole position. Really wanted to see how well he could do today, but made a mistake late on in his stint on lap 5 or lap 6, I believe it was. And for him then, it was a recovery drive ever since. He's now up to 8th place, 2.6 now behind the next car, which is Mays. Meanwhile then, we're still on board with Ollie then. With around 5.5 laps to go, through the chicane we go of turn 6 and 7. Now coming towards turn 8. And you can see Ollie still putting that pressure on the Mercedes of Spike. And how much Spike wants this win, it's going to be crucial for him to try and get him back into this championship fight right about now. If we have a look at the championship standings, as it stands going into this race, obviously Ollie was 6 points ahead of Spike. So as it stands then, Spike will take back 2nd place in the championship by a single point. That is as it stands, of course. A lot can happen in 5 laps, which is exactly what we've gone into now. Lap 31 of 35. We have 5 laps of the Hungarian Grand Prix to go here as we head down towards turn 1 again. Ollie looking for a way past, looking to see if that inside option is open. Meanwhile, Siege here on a set of ultra softs pitted in, remember. Could bin those soft tyres. Now looking for a way past White here, who's looking to try and impress. Currently it's a Haas 4.5, which will be their best result of the season. Unfortunately though, I don't think it's going to last too long. Here comes Siege then with the DRS on those ultra soft tyres. Side by side they run as they head now down towards turn 1. And Siege then up the inside he goes. And yeah, there you go, shuts the door, makes sure White can't attack back. And with that DRS, all he has to do now is try and pull away, going down towards turn 2. And he has the move done. Up into 5th place he goes then. And Spike still leading the way. Half a second clear at the moment. But that's not good enough for him at the moment. He'll want more. Going now down towards turn 12. Elsewhere out of track, Siege needs to find 3.4 seconds in the next 4 and a bit laps. Which is going to be tough there. That is George Roberts, by the way. Just getting out of the way of the drivers then. That's what the yellow flags in Sector 3 are for. And Spike looked like he got a better exit there. But with Ollie having the DRS, you can see how much he's closing in here. Will he try and move down towards turn 1? Again, it's one of those sighter moves. Seeing how Spike will react. And Spike there just reacted. by closing that avenue. Ollie really has to think about this one as we head into lap 32. We have 4 laps to go here. Is there a chance for Ollie to try and make a move stick? This could go down to the very last lap of this race. Through turn 4 we go. And now heading towards that long right-hander of turn 5 with half those brake markers missing. And you'll see on the left-hand side here how much of them are missing. And that was thanks to Squeezy earlier on in the race. And Squeezy, for him, it may not have been the best day at all. But he finds himself in 3rd place. Remember, he's got those penalties to add up as well. But at the moment, it's 9 seconds, so he will retain 3rd place in this race. As Ollie here, looking to still keep that pressure on the Mercedes as we head through turn 12. Now coming down towards turn 13. And that wide angle shot there, you can see. We'll have to wait and see if and when these guys can really get the moves done. At the moment though, Ollie still 4/10 back as he looks for a move then in the slipstream. You can see Spike then trying to find a way to defend. Ollie now launched it down the inside. A little bit of contact between the two of them as they rub wheels, they bang tyres here. As they now run down towards turn 2. Spike now trying to go up the inside at turn 2 here, and it's contact between them again. Keep it clean, guys. That's one contact apiece there as they head through turn 3 now. Spike running off track there. It's contact again. Ollie now, is he going to take the lead? No, Spike goes through into turn 4 and takes the lead of the race once again. These two have to calm it down a little bit. This could end in tears if they're not careful. As we head through the chicane here of turn 6 and turn 7, you can see there Spike, it felt like it was half retaliation, half battling there. Because he felt the contact from Ollie into turn 1 and then did his best to defend with or without contact. So these two have to keep it careful or they'll both be out of this race. It's almost a sense that they have to work together if they want to try and catch Squeezy, who's behind them. Obviously in 3rd place, they'll both gain points on Squeezy no matter what happens at the moment. But they've got to finish this race. They both have to understand that right about now. Heading through the final corner, Ollie gets another stab at the move then. Into the DRS zone we go, into this slipstream. Ollie has got much more straight line speed, but Spike blocks off the right hand side. He has to go the long way around, does Ollie. Looks like Spike's going to try and close the door, does he? Ollie loses the back end, and that's that chance for move gone. Running down towards turn 2. We have 2 laps to go here, and Ollie is fired up for this one. Spike is fired up to defend this one as well. And we'll have to wait and see how these two retaliate with each other. I wouldn't want to be in this this debrief room as Spike picks up a 3-second time penalty, and that's gone up to 6 now, so he has to be careful. He may be under pressure there. He's got to keep it clean now, keep it between the white lines. Now I'm not sure how many penalties Ollie has, if he has any. I'm not entirely sure. Of course, with one commentator in the box, it's always really difficult to keep up with that, because Ollie has fallen slightly back. He's a bit further back than maybe he'd like. But of course, he still has turn 13 coming up here, and then through turn 14 to try and get into the DRS zone. Now, of course, the detection point is around about here. There's that white line. That's the detection point there. So Spike then still in the lead of this one as we head on to the final lap of the Hungarian Grand Prix. This might be all or nothing as we head now down towards turn 1. Spike again blocking off the right hand side. Ollie having to go the long way round. He now gets the opening for the switchback. Into the DRS he goes. Is that the move for Ollie? That's a mistake. That slight mistake from Spike then might have just cost him this win. Ollie then holds off on the apex, and yes, the Red Bull takes the lead of the race on the final lap. That was great racecraft in the end from Ollie, and he takes the race win. Well, not yet anyway. He's still got the rest of the lap to complete, but he does take the race lead at the moment, and Spike will be absolutely furious. Maybe with himself, maybe with the battling there, but he's got to try and get it to the end now. He's got 6 seconds worth of penalties at the moment, and of course Squeezy has 9, so he's got no worries from the car behind. He needs to get this car to the end now. He may have lost out on this one, but Ollie there, leaving it late. He saw those moves. You saw them battling for at least 9 or 10 laps there. And Ollie, on the very final lap, makes the move stick. He saw Spike lock up. He then turned early to try and get the switch back. And that is move done as Ollie then makes his way around the final corner. This is going to be his second win of the season. Ollie then makes his way towards the line and wins the Hungarian Grand Prix. Spike then finishing in second place, and that is Squeezy finishing in third. And he also had a 5-second stop go as well then. And so Ollie then takes race win number 2 of the season for him, as he now retains second place and closes the gap to the leader by 10 points. Then Siege comes across the line and he takes third place. Siege takes the final spot on the podium, and that is a great result for him. That's exactly what he needed. So that means Squeezy finishes in 4th. That's White in 5th with Sean in 6th. Dave M, after qualifying on pole position, takes 7th place. Maze then in 8th. Lighty finishes in 9th place. And Little Piece here, if he can finish the race, will come home and take the last point. So Little Piece then, well, he was involved in that turn 1 drama, but he has recovered at least. And that looks like he will be taking the last point of this race then. And there he goes then. The Toro Rosso weaves his way across the line to take the race win. But your winner of the Hungarian Grand Prix, it's his second race win of the season. Ollie takes top spot. Well, there is your top 3 then. It is a Red Bull 1-3 as they look to try and reel back any points against Mercedes. They've done exactly that today, and it's top spot for Ollie. So then, here are your official, unofficial results then. Ollie takes the race win, his second of the season. Spike then finishing in 2nd, with Siege in 3rd. It's Squeezy in 4th. White in 5th, with Sean in 6th. Dave M, who qualified on pole position, finishes down in 7th place. Maze in 8th. Lighty, who qualified 9th, drops to 9th. Qualified in 3rd, my apologies. Finishes in 9th. Little Piece rounding out the top 10. Plaster in 11th, with George Roberts in 12th. Alan K disconnected, and we lost in the race. Crazy Legs, Pursuit, Graham and Yuzi. Well, it got a bit feisty towards the end, didn't it? But Ollie takes his second race win of the season, and we will have to wait and see. We don't have long for Commentator's Corner, so it might have to be a couple of quick questions each before we have to end it there. But, well, it's not like Thursday where there was no Commentator's Corner at all. This time it's going to be a much shorter, this one. But hopefully we'll get both of those, Ollie and Spike, into the lobby, and we can see how we go from there. But yeah, fantastic race, this one. Obviously, we'll try and get as many people in Commentator's Corner as possible. Make sure you do like and subscribe at the channel then. Make sure you hit the notification bell as well, so you're notified every time we go live. Full schedule will be at the end of Commentator's Corner if you want to know that one. You can follow the league on Twitter as well, at TTL_F1. You can also follow me whilst you're there as well, at KSMCG F1. We'll be back with Commentator's Corner in just a couple of minutes. Don't go away from the channel.